We got a secretary report.
We have that and
And
treasurer's
you got the
reports.
treasurer report because Steve.
That's what I'm saying. I got both of them. Now, this report is a little bit messed up.
That's all right.
The meeting of the South Metro chapter of the George Council of the Blind, GCB, for February 8th began with roll call and a secretary report. There was no treasurer report. As for the sick, we are to continue to remember Ann Sims in our thoughts and prayers. Chris announced she would be celebrating her birthday at Old Charlie's, which was held on February 19th. The remainder of the meeting consisted of Brent Reynolds giving a report on MARTA versus the union, really. I accidentally put in big transportation. The union claimed that MARTA mobility was turned over to MB because of outsourcing. Ms. Reynolds stated...
Because they wanted to bust the union.
Well, I didn't know how to put it in that. Mr. Reynolds stated that on-time performance is good. Oh, really? And that there would be more improvements for MB to come. Dick Cannon suggested that chapter members tell stories about their lives and accomplishments. It should have said achievements, but it did not. The GCB State Convention will be held at the Ramada Inn from May 3rd to 6th. The cost of rooms will be $90 per night. I forgot to put plus tax. To make hotel reservations, call, and I memorized that number, 770-531-0907. And you want to tell them it's concerning the meeting. The conference. Fees are as follows. Registration, $30. That's whether it's outdoors or in the door. Tour of Botanical Gardens in Gainesville, $11. Box lunch, $14, and dinner, $15. For more information, contact Lisa Jones at 404-556-8987. Or for those with internet access, visit georgecounciloftheblind.org. The meeting was adjourned. Now I did, there's a little more information didn't get put in there, but the $25 is what each chapter would pay for the door prizes. And $20 is what each chapter would pay for the hospitality. So if you have anything to add, if you had anything to add, Brent, go for it.
So if you do the tour and the box lunch and the registration and the dinner, I guess that's the banquet dinner, that's going to cost you $70.
Just think about that, and then you got your $90.
And then you got however many nights you're going to stay there, and that's $90 plus tax, and they probably have a 10 or 15% tourist tax thing on top of all that.
I'm sure they do. I imagine the hotel room probably probably about $100-something.
So a little over $100 probably, 110, 100 to 100. And then you could probably share that with one person, and if you want a third or fourth person in the room with you, it probably adds a little bit more. $10 per person or something maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
That's kind of standard.
After the second person, many times, yeah.
So that is the end.
And then you got to get there and back.
Yeah, how the
That's
heck
true.
you gonna get there?
And the transportation, you didn't mention the transportation to me. So, the Uber's one thing, but
There was a rumor that somebody was going to look into possibly providing transportation. Usually if they do that, you got to get enough people to...
Last Friday to be exact, a week ago tomorrow, I paid Lyft. I went up to a music store in Gainesville and paid Lyft $80 for the round trip, $40 each way, right?
From
And
Alpharetta to Gainesville.
From Alpharetta to Gainesville, it was $80 round trip.
it will cost you that.
Going from where y'all live downtown, it would be between $45 and $50 one way. Round trip.
And it depends on when you do it too.
And a couple of people could share that.
Night fees are a lot cheaper.
They are?
Peak time is what
Enough people.
peak time is what costs most when it comes to transportation.
If you had
But I
enough
couldn't get
people,
anybody.
it would
I
be
had to
cheaper if you
trade
had
the
enough
banjo
people and a
case.
driver.
The United States
Then you could
fire
rent
went
a
down to the
van
other
for a
side.
weekend.
That's when
Yeah, but see, that's, I mean, like if 4 people went in a car, they could split it, and that
You
that
got that right.
$40 ride could be a $10 ride.
Yes,
per
ma'am.
I didn't
person.
know you could do that. That'd be great.
Yeah,
They
Uber and
probably
Lyft
charge
both
so
do
much
that.
more for each rider, though.
They usually don't.
No.
No,
Uh,
'cause
but
it's-
they'll carry up to 4 people.
Well, I know Uber does an Uber pool. Yeah.
Well, that they do, and it's kind of more.
Yeah,
or
but the
less-
Uber pool, that's not like if you've got 3 people riding with you.
Oh,
The
yeah,
pool is
yeah,
like
you're right, you're
they're
right.
going to stop and pick up somebody else,
Yeah, yeah.
like a ride share thing, shared ride.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is.
And it's cheaper even if it's a routine thing.
So do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Y'all make it.
I second it.
Okay. Any questions, corrections? All in favor?
Right.
All opposed? Oh, Gilmore's opposed. Oh,
Oh, no.
tough.
Because you didn't say it in doggy terms.
Yes.
Okay, what about Treasury?
Treasurer report
Well,
was simply
I'm
broke.
the one that has to read it. I won't tell you if it's broken or not. Y'all want to determine that. January's is closing balance as of December 30th, 2017. Checking account $521.47. Savings account $15.53. Cash on hand $24. Total $560. During the month of January, we earned 1 cent on our checking account.
Oh, they're getting stingy. Thought it was 2 cents.
Well, it ain't that. Account and $26 from the fundraiser. Closing balance as of January 30th. Checking account $521.48. Savings account $15.53. Cash on hand $50. Total $586. And that's the January report.
So we have a motion to,
I got a February report
February,
too.
okay.
So here's February's. Opening balance is February 1st, 2018. Checking account $521.48. Savings account $15.53. Cash on hand $50. Total $586. No activity for the month of February. Closing balance as February 28, 2018. Checking account $521.48. Savings account $15.53. Cash on hand $50. The grand total $586.
Told you they're getting stingy. They didn't even give us our penny in February.
Well, the Treasury,
We didn't even get our penny interest in February.
they didn't get no. There just wasn't that, so, well,
Do have a motion to approve that for
Move we
filing away for
accept
audit
the
and all that other good stuff?
Treasury report.
I second it.
All in favor? Opposed? None. Wow. So we'll just authorize Steve to send the state the $25 for the door prizes and $20 for the hospitality room for the convention.
Okay.
Well, I don't know when that has to be in, but
that's just it. I don't know. He said there's no. He said there's no deadline for the registration, whether it's indoors or.
yeah, you can register at the door, and it's the same. They used to be they give it was a few dollars cheaper if you send
It
it
used to be like
in advance.
$5 difference
It's
or
not
something.
now. It's
Now it's the same whether you do it in advance or pay at the door.
exactly.
Pay at the door. The door.
Well, at least that's good. You can pay at the door. Some places get to where they won't let you pay at the door.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Well, I don't know about GCB, but I've seen things where you know, that they're going to have like group things. And there was one I heard about that.
Well, and when there's a meal
And
involved,
they said you have to pay in advance. There's no, yeah, it's a catered meal, so they say there's no registration at the door in that event.
What else you got? Mr. Melvin's got some sickness.
Melvin's got some. Well, no, Melvin's got some. He's got some relatives that have been responsible for increasing the population.
Oh yeah.
You want to tell us about that?
Well,
What night did that take place?
well, you know, two people fall in love, and they say, "Oh, you talking about the inbox?" Oh, I was going to say, all right, kids, gather around.
Okay.
Well, I have 3 new. I'm a great uncle. Well, actually, I have a bunch of great nieces and nephews right now.
So you can have an East time.
Oh yeah. Easter will be a busy holiday for us. My niece, Dr. Janicia Louise Mason, she had Rodney Mason the fourth, and my nephew Philip Lamar Hardaway had Philip Hardaway the third, and what's it? Phyllis Alexis
So
Hardaway.
you are gonna go up there and see them all, huh?
Oh, they've already come home. They've already kissed in my lap.
Yeah.
And got some more on the way this year.
Lord have mercy. Somebody
Yes.
busy, yeah.
Yes, they paid attention when I gave them the diagram about the bees and the birds.
The birds and the bees.
Let you know that some of them, my niece, the one I was telling you about from Duke, just as she got her grantship renewed, that's when she found out that she got something else to renew. A birth certificate.
Oh, no.
She's expecting, and it's a possibility. It's a people. It's a great possibility.
Multiples.
It could be, yeah.
3, 4,
And then
10.
Don't say such a thing.
But altogether, I got 7 great nieces and nephews expecting this year.
So
Lord Jesus.
we need to keep Lisa in our prayers because she's got
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
And what about anything about? I saw an email from Ann a couple of weeks ago that I thought she was doing pretty good on the new medication, the new chemo they switched her to, and her numbers went down, and then she went a month later they were up high, so she decided she's not going to do treatments anymore.
That's what she said.
Anything more recent?
She said that they went back down, the numbers went back up. They wanted to switch her to something else. And that was going to cause more problems than it was worth.
Oh.
A lot more trouble with her neuropathy. If she took it, she would not be able to she was basically going to have to watch getting near anything warm,
Ooh.
taking a warm, a hot bath, anything is it. So she decided that was not worth it. And she and her family, basically she's in hospice now. I mean, it's at home, but
Oh.
in hospice at this point.
She's got hospice now, you're saying?
Yes,
They're coming to her home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they can either do it at home or you can go to a hospice facility. Wow.
Yeah.
It is.
It's sad.
Usually hospice will only serve a person for 6 months at the most.
Yeah.
Because they figure that's end of life care.
Yep. Wow.
And some people, not many, some have come out of hospice.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, some do,
Very
yeah.
rare.
Some go in and
It
out
does
a couple
happen.
times.
Yeah, some people go in and out a couple times, yeah.
Some keep on living, so. Anyway, we remember Ann, our thoughts and prayers.
Anybody else that we know has
remember Johnny and too. I know he's going.
Yeah, because you know John and
Hey, they bringing it.
Huh. Wow.
yeah, I don't know how John will take it if she goes. I don't think he would let on. He would try to keep it to himself pretty much, which might not be good either because he would need the support from friends and family.
Yeah. There's a lady that was on a lady and husband that was on our chat line that I was on, and she died back in 1st of December or so, and the husband, he's blind also, and they'd been married for like 60 years. And now he's having it really rough.
It's pretty rough when you've been married that long and separated. Yeah.
Between that and him having medical problems.
You know.
Yeah.
Amy and Johnny, they've been married, what, 34?
Married for about
30 some odd years. They've been married 30 some odd years.
Peanut dog, you.
Wow.
How much Coach been doing?
Wow.
Hey,
Good. He's a healthy doggy.
All right.
He's a healthy puppy dog.
What is this new business? What?
No, we're still. I got a call from Jason at Barter Reservations today, reminding me that I'm still on the waiting list to test that interactive telephone IVR thing.
really.
They don't have it. They're still trying to get it into the system, but what it'll be able to do, and they're looking for people to test it, so you can call them, and when they get ready to test it, the two things they can do is they can let you know the night before your trip, or send you a reminder that you have a trip scheduled, either by phone or by text message.
Anybody need Coke?
Coffee?
Coke.
Anybody need Coke?
I do. I already got one for you. Anybody need Coke?
No, thank you.
So they can let you know the night before that you got a trip scheduled. Or they can let you know the day of the trip. They can call you 15 or 20 minutes before your trip to let you know how far they are out, when they'll be there. If they can call you 10 or 15, 20 minutes before your ready time and say something like, okay, your van is on the way, it'll be there in so many minutes.
Or maybe they call you and see how late they're going to be.
Which will, well, yeah, that too, but or let you know if it is going to be late.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I like to be a kid.
That's like the
So you need to
customs
call
today.
Roosevelt Stripling's office. He's in eligibility, so you call the eligibility number.
Roosevelt.
Well,
And I don't
I
have
mean,
that number
Hank
with me
Gilmore
right now.
get you.
I
I
called
got
them back a month ago, but hadn't heard from them.
Yeah, they
Hank Gilmore.
you just tell them that you want to be, that you want to test it when they get ready, and they'll put your name on their list, and then they'll call you when they're.
I guess I call them back.
At first,
again.
when he called me this morning, I said, "Oh, so we ready to test it now?" And he said, "No, he just was calling and reminding everybody that they hadn't forgot, in case you were wondering."
Hey,
Sorry if I use your name now.
Well, you can, but you don't have to.
shady. Yep.
Just tell them you heard about it.
I got two Coke for you, okay?
2 Coca-Colas.
He wants to buy
Got that just ready for you.
Yeah.
I'm working on trying to go to national convention. I'm sorry.
Who asked for it?
Somebody asked me coffee.
I
did.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
been offered a trip to Israel. Yeah, that has been a lifelong dream. It's fantastic.
Go do it. Go do it. I hadn't heard anything else lately about Marta other than I got that call about the IVR thing.
I know I was on that van one day for 3 hours and 15 minutes trying to get my butt back home.
Did you call and complain about excessive time on the van?
No?
That's what they call. It's always good to do that. Anytime if you think you're on the van too long and they're going to all kind of crazy places, and
I made my round.
or
But then every time they tell you, Marta's good. It was
Yeah.
Marta's fault.
Well, but what-
it is Marta's fault.
but if you get it in the system and get a complaint number, they have
Yeah.
to at least have statistics that people are complaining. If you don't ever call and complain,
I got some.
as far as they know, it never happened.
The last two times,
And they'll
I
think
was on
they're
there
doing
for
all
like
right.
over 2 hours each time.
It's good service.
Go ahead. Go do it. Do what you got to do. You look hungry. You need to get you some more too, anyway.
Right, I might get it right now. A lady came by my apartment for Raw Wednesday. I cooked this hot dog in there. Laundry.
Brent,
Yeah.
now you have a program tonight.
We do have a program,
Yes, you do.
We do.
and the presenter is here.
They are.
It is.
We're going to have the audio biography of Paquetta Dutton. She's going to tell us all the wonderful things, the stuff we thought we knew but didn't know, probably.
I know it already, but I'm fixing to
Everything you
tell you
always wanted to
anyhow.
know, but we're afraid to ask for it.
Okay. I'm
So,
going to start with the 2nd of October, 1946, Wednesday night. And it was about 9:30, and Uncle Kenneth and Aunt Ruthie were there with Mama and Daddy, staying until the baby came. And they went to bed about 9:30 on the 2nd of October. And were awakened at about 11 o'clock that night by Mama telling everybody it was time to go. And the baby was fixing to come. So Daddy got up, he grabbed the suitcase, started out to the door, and when he got out there to the door, Aunt Ruthie said, "Dearie, don't you think you ought to take your pajamas off and put some clothes on before you go out there?" So Daddy said, yeah, he reckoned he should, and so he did. And then he took Mama to the hospital, where she waited until 9 p.m. the next night before I was born. When I was born, Alicia Marquetta Dutton, on the 3rd of October, Thursday night, about 9 o'clock. That's when I made my debut.
and you know so precisely when you were born, you could get a totally good, big astrological chart readout for you.
Good. I need that. So then I weighed 7 pounds even. It was 21 ounces long, 21 inches long.
Wow.
So they brought me home the next day.
Really?
And when they brought me home, the people that brought Mama home came in, and they were all getting Mama set up and everything, and left me out in the car. And that man that drove them home told Uncle Kenneth and Aunt Ruthie, "If y'all don't want what's out there in the car, I'll just take it on home with me." And Aunt Ruthie and Uncle Kenneth ran out there and got me out of the car. I was still in a little basket, you know, those little baskets they brought you home in. And they were scrambling around and looking at me and everything, and they brought me in the house. And everybody was, you know, paying attention to the baby and everything. It was a happy day. 3 months later, Mama discovered I had a crooked toe. And they decided they better take me to the doctor to see if they could do something about straightening it, or if it would be okay just leave it like it was or whatever, but they worried about it because I had a little crooked toe. They took me to the doctor, and the doctor examined me and he said, "Well, don't worry about her toe, you got worse problems. This baby's blind." and I had cataracts on both eyes. So they looked around for a specialist, and they found one in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Dr. Hackney. And they took me to see him, and he did operations on my eyes, took the cataracts off, and I had some vision after that. I was about 6 months old when all that happened, and by the time all the operations and everything was over, I was about 3 years old.
Ew.
So then, after that, Daddy drove a rolling store for Fane Hamrick. And I was about 3, it was right after I got where I could see. And Mama would go with him, and he'd drive the rolling store, and Mama would sell stuff. And they'd drive to people's houses, and they'd come out and buy stuff. And I was about 3 years old, and they'd pacify me with a sucker. And I was happy as long as I had a sucker. And everybody thought the baby was cute and everything. And I enjoyed every time we went on the rolling store because I got lots of attention, and I always got a sucker. Then my first day at school, I loved that. Mama stayed with me the first day, and that was on Friday. And then on the Monday, when I actually started to school, Daddy took me, and I went in all by myself, stayed all day. And there was this little boy, and he started crying. Miss Mahan gave him a sucker. And I loved suckers.
You had to have one.
But, well, I wondered if I would cry, would I get a sucker, or would I get a paddle, and what would happen if I cried? But then what would happen if she found out I wasn't really crying, because I didn't feel like crying, but I wanted a sucker. And I didn't do anything. I just didn't do anything, didn't get a sucker either. But that was school, and that was life. And
But you wouldn't say that life sucked.
and then when I was in the 2nd grade, my grandpa Phillips came to live with us. And oh, I was happy about that because he always told me funny stories, sang songs to me, and I loved it when he came to live with us. And he lived with us about 3 years.
Wow.
Well, until I was 11.
Huh.
And when I was 11, Daddy passed away. And then Papa passed away too, about two weeks later. And that just floored me. We were all unhappy about that. And then we moved to Fairmount. Mama and I moved to Fairmount. It was just Mama and me. And we moved to Fairmount. Mama worked in a rug mill. We drew Social Security. We decided we were going to have some money, more money in order to live. So Mama decided we would sell Blair. And Blair is like Avon. It's the same kind of thing Avon is. And Mama would go around and take orders for the Blair, and then when the order would come in, she'd order it, and then we'd go around and deliver the orders. And I got to go with her, and that was always fun, going to different people's houses and delivering the Blair and everything, you know. We had a good time with that. And then
Did you enjoy school?
Then, when I was 18, my mother remarried. And after that summer, I went to Georgia Academy for the Blind. They had a rehabilitation center where I went down there to see what I was best suited for in order to get a job.
Yeah.
And I stayed 9 weeks down there, and that was the prettiest place. I loved it. That was when the old building used to be there before they remodeled it. When they had the arcade, the skylight up in the arcade, and I still had some sight then, so I could see it. And the sunlight would come down in the lobby, and it was so pretty. And I took Braille and home ec and personal management. And Braille was my favorite subject. But I loved something that I could actually read. And after that, I came home and I went my last year in high school. And I graduated from high school in 1966. Then I went to Warm Springs and took vending stand training and learned to run a vending stand. And after I finished down there, I went to Cuthbert, Georgia, and took more training in another snack bar that was actually a real snack bar. And I stayed down there until they discovered I had glaucoma, and I had to have surgery for that, and that's when I started to gradually lose my sight.
Oh.
And then I came to Atlanta after the glaucoma surgery, and I still could see with my left eye, but not as well as I used to see.
Yeah.
And I worked in that snack bar, and I loved the snack bar. I just loved doing that. It was wonderful. And then they found I had a detached retina in my left eye. That was the one I could see with. And I stopped working and I went to CVI, where I learned Braille, personal management, and mobility. And I learned to walk with a cane and cross streets. And after that, I started doing volunteer work. And I did volunteer work for about 16 years at Center for the Visually Impaired. After which, I retired. Now, when I retired, I watched soap operas, listened to talking books, and listened to music, and just had a big time. And I lived happily ever after.
Yes.
So when you were volunteering at CVI, did you work with the beginning of the STARS program? Or?
No, I cleaned up the kitchen. I washed dishes and I cleaned cabinets.
Yeah,
I did whatever they needed me to help them do in
collected
there.
lunch money there for a while when they had a cafeteria thing there. I remember you then.
What was that, Wendy?
When you collected money for the cafeteria that time at CVI.
Oh, that was when I worked in the workshop. I was in the work adjustment program, and
Yeah. And you collected the money at the lunch time.
I sure did. Yep, I did that.
What year was that?
That was back in 77, 78.
Yeah.
Time ago.
They didn't have the cafeteria open very long at all.
No, it didn't last long, but it was
wasn't
fun while
there
it
in
lasted. I
75
loved.
when I was
It
there,
reminded
didn't I?
me of working in the workshop in the snack bar when I did that.
You also took training in making for medical transcription.
Yeah, but that didn't work out. I didn't want to tell about that because it didn't work out. But yeah, I did.
Real well then.
I did it though, and I stayed with Ruth Holzenbach and her children.
Yeah.
Yep. And I met Louise Bass, one of my best friends. Louise and Jimmy Bass.
You went to public school, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just went to the academy that summer, so they could evaluate me. But I learned Braille while I was down there. They were evaluating me, and I was learning whatever they had to offer.
Still read Braille?
Yeah, I was reading Braille right then, except it was Braille notes.
Get you some Braille magazines.
I made an outline.
Took Braille from Mr. Watson.
Sure did. Yep, good old Mr. Watson. I liked him.
Braille?
And he used to call me Dutton. He never called me Marquetta or Miss Dutton or anything. He called me Dutton. And I liked it. I thought I was big when somebody called me by my last name. Nobody ever had before because everybody'd always called me Marquetta in school.
He used to call Yvonne, he used to call her Snake.
What?
Because he thought that her arms or hands always felt cold.
Marquetta, you worked in
Called her
Athens
Snake.
too for a while.
About 2. It was 7 months I worked in Athens. I went in January, and it seems like I came home in March. I didn't stay long down there, but I did. It was an orthopedic clinic, and it wasn't geared to blind people. You had to look up the charts, and you had to look up where to put the put medical records in the charts, and then you had to look up addresses and type. If you wrote a letter to a doctor, you had to type the envelope. You had to type on the envelope the address. You had to look that up in the doctor's book. They had a book down there that had every doctor in Georgia listed in it.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
And so you had to look up the addresses, and I couldn't do all that because I couldn't see well enough to. And I had to use a reading glass to do it with, and it took forever. If I could have just done the dictaphone work like I did down at Macon, I'd been all right, I think.
Been able to do it.
And I don't know why I didn't stay in Macon. They didn't keep me. What happened was, I was at Macon, and they decided they were going to send me to Athens, which didn't work out. And so, well, that didn't work out.
Well,
So
thank you, Marquetta.
that's why I didn't mention those things that didn't work out. I just mentioned things that worked out.
There's nothing wrong with stuff that didn't work out.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess
Sometimes it's
That
interesting
goes
and
to
you learn
prove
stuff from
you
that.
tried.
I learned a lot.
What year did you move to Atlanta?
In 1971. It was in September 1970. Well, at least it was the last day of September. I came and moved in the church's home there on 11th Street, and that's where I lived when I first came to Atlanta. It was a boarding house.
That was close to 3311. That's where Jimmy
Where was
Holson
that
back.
place at?
Yeah, it was just right
That's
up
where
the
Jimmy
street.
Holson back and I lived down there.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
come back.
really?
They'd pick me up, and then they'd come on up there and pick y'all up.
Hey,
We went to CVI.
Marquetta.
Jimmy was at Elkins,
What?
Elkins Institute,
I didn't know about it.
recording studio or recording company. Yeah.
Oh,
He
okay.
was learning how to do radio.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's interesting. So that place is not even there now, right? That
That boarding
Boarding
house
house.
where we are, they tore it down. It's rat house when we were there.
Yeah, it was
they
run
had
down.
wonderful, awesome food.
Even before I moved from there, I think those people moved out of there. The house is still there, but they left.
Where was that church's home at?
11th Street. It was at the corner of 11th and West Peachtree.
How long did you live there, Marquetta? You lived there, right?
About 12 years.
Wow.
I lived there till they closed it.
How long have you been over there at the other place?
Briarcliff Summit.
Yeah.
29 years, the 18th of this month.
So you moved there when they opened it up, huh?
No, not quite. I was there when they closed it. I mean, they closed it.
No, I mean, Briarcliff Summit.
They closed the church's home. They closed the church's home, and I moved to the Briarcliff Summit,
Yeah.
where I live now.
Were you one of the first people to move into the Briarcliff Summit?
No. It opened in 1980. Briarcliff Summit opened in 1980,
Ah.
and I moved in there in 1989.
You need coffee.
Well, thank you.
You need some coffee.
That was very interesting. Enjoyed that.
Thank you.
So now you were.
Jimmy Holson back with date Marquetta when she was over there. I'm just kidding.
No way. He was a youngin'.
Yeah,
when I
he
first
was
saw
a lot
him.
younger.
And
He was
Marquetta can
about 9 years old, I
He's
guess,
a
first time I
mess.
ever saw him.
He's a man.
Oh, Marquetta can also sing.
He is a mess now.
I used to, before my
Marquetta's got
voice
a
went,
beautiful voice.
well, I had
Better
a
sing
good
for us.
voice, I guess, but something happened. They said the muscles in my throat are weak. So now, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't.
You have some coffee?
If I get tired, I can't get my voice to work right. I can't depend on it. But I used to sing, and I used to enjoy it.
Sing in church, sing in the choir.
Yes,
She sure did. Sang in weddings.
yeah, I did.
You were involved in the Christian Fellowship for the Blind when we used to meet at CVI on Saturdays.
Yep.
Yes,
I
she
didn't
was.
know they
Came
had
down
such
there.
a. I didn't know they had such a
Oh,
thing.
they did.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
I
was
thought you were
we
there.
ever got to know you, Miss
I
Grace.
wouldn't have
Miller.
missed it.
I believe so, honey.
Oh, yeah.
I think.
Al Falligan used to
Yep,
read it.
Al Fallon.
I remember he read that part about I will make a lamp, and I'll make the crooked smooth, and I'll make the,
Old Penny Moss came.
yeah,
Penny Moss.
yeah, she did.
Pam and myself.
What about, there's a girl named Faye. Did she go?
Lucy Moss.
Yeah.
Lucy was there.
Lucy, well, they said Lucy and what's that other girl's name?
Him.
I remember
Well, they
Pam.
said-
I remember Pam from Camp Wiki Wacky days.
Oh, yes. Which one, the coffee or the green?
Both of them.
Okay.
Did you ever go to Camp Wiki Wacky, Marquetta?
No, but I went to Camp Willoway.
I did. I went for 10 years.
And we used to go to Willoway to while away the time.
I love Camp Willoway.
I used to go when I was the little girl's house mother.
Camp living is the life for me. That was a song we made up at Pine Acres.
Where was it again?
It was at Pine Acres ago, Lake Altoona in Athens.
Really?
And then it went to
Didn't know about that.
Willoway.
Marquetta, you've had an
State Park in
interest in
Wyandotte.
life.
We called that Wiki
still have
Wacky
an
when it was
interest
at
in
Pine
life.
Acres.
And then it went
Yep.
back to
Marquetta's just down
Pine
the
Acres
way.
in
Here comes the
94.
water,
That was last
Chester.
year I went.
Chester, baby.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
hitting the water now.
Oh, Chester.
It's running under my
Oh, no,
tray.
what happened, girl?
Well, it's running under my tray where his water. It
You
didn't.
need- you need
It didn't
to-
get. It didn't get here until now.
Oh,
They
no.
never did.
Wow, it took a long
There
time.
came, tried to wipe it up, so
Probably 'cause
it
the
just
ice
kept
melted.
running.
They never
And it
did
just
it.
now got into
Hey,
coming over on
Marquetta.
this side.
Do you need some
Pine
napkins?
Acres is the place.
There's a bunch of them.
I've got some napkins if
Put
you.
them,
You see him, I got.
put them over there. Under.
Sam, you need some
See all
napkins?
this ice is up here in the middle of the table. All this ice is in the middle of the table. They need to come back here and clean that up. They need
Put
to.
it down Chester's back.
And it just now got to running over here on that
Put it
side.
down his back.
I'm gonna put some napkins there to block it. Maybe there's some will block it off.
Cool him off. Put
Yeah,
some
'cause
ice
it's
water
gonna run all
down
the way
his back.
back.
Throw some ice water down his back.
It's just now getting to me,
Ice water.
so they won't get wet.
You better get your cholesterol checked.
I will.
But I just wonder how many people out of Atlanta would be wanting to go up there to Gainesville.
Now,
I'm not going up there. That's too high rates for Gainesville, Georgia. I live there.
I ain't going
I
up there
wouldn't-
neither.
I ain't giving them
Chester,
no
you
money.
going? You and
planning to go.
Lisa usually go.
That's at a, what is that, a Ramada, right? That's
Yeah,
It is.
just Ramada.
they're
I'm not.
about the same
I'm.
everywhere. I mean,
I hope I'll get to have the. I hope I have the money to go.
But
Is Lisa going?
but it was talking about
Yes, ma'am.
one
She was talking about
luncheon.
going.
It was talking about
Young
one luncheon
Lisa
is
and
supposed to be
Chester.
buffet.
Y'all gonna room together.
They always
We would.
Ooh!
the $14 thing, is that that's the boxed lunch? That's, I guess,
That's it.
catered in. But
But then they was talking about one luncheon is actually. They was talking about one luncheon is actually buffet.
Well, that's
From
the
the
one
paperwork that I got
Saturday.
on
That's the
email.
one Saturday, the one that,
I like a buffet for a blind folks.
not
I thought
hardly.
the same
have a-
thing when I looked at it, but you got, I won't tell you what your choices are. Chicken or roast beef, mashed potatoes, vegetable medley, buttered rollers. I don't remember if there's a salad or not, but there's peach cobbler for dessert and tea and coffee.
Chris's favorite. She does.
But, so I guess that'll be served buffet style, but it's not really a buffet because you don't got all that many choices.
Well, you don't, but they call it buffet. It's kind of misleading, really.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to pay for a plate at dinner or lunch.
I guarantee you they'll have
But
chicken.
it's $15, I can tell you that for lunch.
That's
I mean,
the chicken capital of the world. I know that. They'll
Yeah,
serve
that's what they
chicken.
claim.
I didn't know that.
Oh, honey, they got chicken processing plants.
They used to have
galore.
signs as you drove into Gainesville that said it's against the law to eat chicken with a fork in
It
Gainesville.
is.
Oh,
Fried chicken, you ain't supposed to eat that. It's against the law.
Oh, it didn't say fried. It just said you're not allowed to eat chicken with a fork in Gainesville.
Finger licking good.
That's the whole deal. They take the fingers up and eat.
they used to
No,
tell us at
I'm trying to
CBI that you
schedule
had
to
to
go
eat baked chicken with a fork. But you could eat fried chicken with your fingers, but you had to eat baked chicken with a fork. But I learned at Warm Springs in that book that Eleanor Roosevelt wrote that you could eat with your fingers any meat that had a bone in it. If it had a bone in it, you could eat it with your
Pick it up.
fingers.
The bone's a handle.
Well, that's good.
Well,
to know.
if it had a bone in it, you weren't supposed to have to be punished with trying to wonder where the bone is when you have to cut it with a knife.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have to pick up pork chop.
I do
Sometimes
too.
you have to do that.
If it's got a bone in it,
Hold
pick
it
it
by
up
the
with your
bones.
fingers.
Eat
And
the
of course,
bone.
ribs, you got to pick them
And
up.
she was
and all
president.
And the
that.
ribs, you
I guess
sure
she
can.
knew.
Did you just see me cut ribs with a fork?
Oh my.
I know. How would you do it?
And
That's
they're
why,
messy.
that's why they give you all those
There used to be a
buttons, those ooh,
cafeteria
things
in
that wash your
Ashburn, and
hands.
on Friday nights she used to have an all-you-can-eat catfish fry.
You're kidding.
And she had a sign posted that said, all you can eat as long as you gnaw the bones. Couldn't just eat the little fat piece right at the thick end of the fish and leave the rest of it. She wanted you to eat the whole thing. So she said, all you can eat as long as you gnaw the bones.
A baked chicken, the only way I see you eat it with a fork if it's boneless.
Or if it
And
falls
it's
off the
got
bone.
gravy on it, then you'd eat it.
Yeah.
But to me, I think if it's on the bone, you pick it up with your
Mighty
hand and
messy
eat it.
if you try to pick it up with all that gravy with it.
Like,
That's
you
the
know,
point.
when fish has all these little
have
bones
you
and
ever been
stuff,
served
you pick
something
that up
and
with your
then you
fingers and
don't
pick
know
those bones out with your fingers. you
That's
know.
what I do.
Whether
Just
to
get-
eat with a fork or
That's what I do. Just go in there and dig the bones out and then eat the fish.
Do we have any kind of new business? Or any announcements? Or
What's your program gonna be next time?
don't know yet.
Somebody else won't tell their life
If
story.
you're not careful, it might be, what did you say your name was? Raymond?
yeah, it might be
You
you.
calling yourself Raymond?
Might be you.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Yeah, it might be you. Yeah,
I wanna do that.
yeah, you do.
We got new business.
New business.
Got some new business.
Mr. Howard here has a birthday.
Huh?
Sam does.
Mr. Howard has a birthday in April.
Okay.
April the 19th. That's when
And,
it
and
is.
where are
If he
we
don't want to do
going for
anything,
your
we're
birthday?
going. Squire and I are going to have DoorDash delivered to his house where he can have a good meal that way. So he's going to have to either decide.
Yeah, we'll decide something.
He said he and Brent
We'll look it up.
would decide.
April
That's the
19th,
19th.
same day as my niece's
Today
birthday.
is the 19th of April.
Well, you have
It's
to
on
let us
Thursday.
know.
And it'll be on a Thursday.
Come on, let's go
Will?
somewhere.
The third Thursday in April.
You
Third
got it right. It's the
Thursday.
third Thursday.
Sam, let's go somewhere.
So to go somewhere.
Let's go somewhere, Sam.
You gotta pick a good Leicester lot. It's your birthday.
Figure out
Sure.
Go wherever you want.
Figure out wherever you want to go.
Go.
Tell us to figure out where we're going.
But
You
we
can
need
even go to
French
Zesto's
fries.
if you want. No.
No.
I don't think you want. You don't want to go
We need
there. do you?
salty French fries.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make Chester a doctor for you.
Oh,
I'm gonna make him stick his arm.
that would make me
Uh-oh.
want now
Take
we're
about
living over
5
here.
quarts of blood.
Uh-huh.
Where you
Which
gonna
did
get?
you go to?
The one in Forest Park.
West Park,
It took all of 33 minutes to get down there.
And it took an hour for me and Barbara to get there.
It's too bad
What
we
you
don't
doing?
have- we don't have a ride. We have to-
Nothing.
I'd love to go.
Aggravating you.
I know, Andrew.
Yeah, it's in Gwinnett County.
Way out in suburbia.
I like Red Water's great.
Oh, I like Red Rock.
Lakewood Avenue.
They're
Yeah,
gonna
they ain't
open,
one.
they're opening Bojangles on Buford Highway near where that Aldi and Popeyes and all that.
Really?
They've opened up a Bojangles up there on Ronaldville Road in New Springs.
Red Robin.
I wish they'd open up a
Bojangles
Red
down on
Robin
Cascade
close
and-
by.
And
Who's
that
in
across the
industrial?
river from where
Yeah,
I'm
we
Oh, John M's nephew.
That's not bad.
we ate there one time. I think some of us went there.
Well, they got some good biscuits.
I
They
remember
got,
their ads.
they got the best biscuits,
What
good
you
chicken.
talking about? The chicken is good biscuits.
They talking about Bojangles hat was good.
That chicken is good.
Yeah,
They got the best biscuits.
I was so glad when they
Sure
opened
do.
that one on 4th and Industrial in Cascade. Because we can get right off the 71.
Mm-hmm.
Right down there in my neck of the woods.
Yep.
That's it. Wish
In
they,
your neck of the woods, Melvin.
I wish they'd open up where Red Robin's close to us, but
Yeah, I wish they would have.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that's. I'm afraid it's going to be April
He put
31st.
some ice down your back.
She's being molested by Raymond.
Oh, he pushed me. I got my chair got pushed in real hard into my stomach.
Oh, Lord. Walk up behind the gang.
He pushed my chair in real hard on my stomach. I'm like, oh, you're bad.
Raymond being bad.
Yeah.
And everybody's supposed to love Raymond.
Everybody loves Raymond. Yeah, that's a TV show.
I like that.
Will that straighten him out?
So Chester,
Yeah.
how many Les Paul guitars did you try out when you bought your headset?
I didn't try it any.
You didn't try any Fenders or Les Pauls?
No.
No.
Did you hear any being
He
played?
didn't even run into any fenders in the parking lot.
Did you hear any being played down there?
Fenders.
No. I got these for my birthday.
What'd you get for your birthday?
These
That
headphones.
big set of studio headphones that he
Oh, you didn't buy them. Somebody gave them to you, right?
Yeah.
wears around his neck all the time, everywhere he goes. You wear them headphones to church, Chester?
Yeah, I record the service with them
Really?
in stereo.
Well, that's all right. Listen.
Help us now. Help
Wait a
us.
minute, are they Bluetooth headphones or?
No, they're
Just
hardware. Studio headphones, like
How big a hard drive's in the headphones?
Well, now, like right, the ones I got with me today are Bose Bluetooth.
He said he records church. How big a hard drive's in your headphones?
It's on my phone.
Oh, his phone, man.
Yeah.
Richard, stop.
You have to go to his church apps to download it.
Stop. I got my purse between me and the table now.
Can you get it with
I
the
think
computer?
we
You can't.
did.
Well, yeah, they have what they call real-time Facebook.
On the computer?
Yeah, on your phone too.
Well, yeah.
A lot of churches.
No, what's
I didn't even know.
So if you,
But yeah,
if you
you got
go to
6
church,
o'clock to watch
when
it
he big
Saturday
church.
night.
yeah, we do the time change.
Yes, sir.
There was somebody that was
download to the apps.
there was somebody that was proposing that we
You know, the minister.
that we have daylight savings time all year round, and somebody suggested maybe we should just go to Atlantic Standard Time.
What in the world is that?
That's like in Bermuda, it's an hour ahead.
Well, Florida's
But-
thinking about doing that.
But if you go to Atlantic Standard Time, then all your radio-controlled atomic receiver clocks and watches won't work anymore because they only know about U.S. Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific time.
I bet they don't know Alaska time over there.
If we know what our time is, like when it's on Eastern Standard Time, what would that,
And the other one.
Instead of
and the other one,
5 o'clock, it'd be 6 o'clock.
5 o'clock by Eastern Standard Time?
It's 6 o'clock Atlantic Standard Time.
Why wouldn't it be like instead of
Well, because that way you wouldn't have to worry about doing daylight savings time. You'd just be on Atlantic Standard Time, and so it'd be like the sun setting later.
well, that'd be like what they
That's
were
in Florida.
It'd be like wartime. In World War II, they had
That time.
it was daylight savings time the whole time, and
just that there was atomic clocks on that time and then so on.
well, you'd have to set it manually because they're programmed.
Yeah, I've got
Well, unless like this watch I
You'd
got.
have to buy a new one.
Right, this watch I got. You don't have to set it. It's automatically.
Yeah, but I'm talking about.
now.
She didn't know.
But the first time you set it up, you have to tell it what time zone you're in. And if you switch to Atlantic Standard Time, your watch wouldn't know that, so it wouldn't be able to get the correct time.
I have to set mine, so it would hurt.
well,
Where's that other
But a lot of people have those atomic clocks.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
I heard they don't
And
work.
they just change by themselves, and you don't have to do anything to them.
I've heard they don't work over there at Peachtree Road.
Well,
I don't know.
you have to put it near the window so it can pick up the radio signal.
From the satellite.
It usually does it. The radio signal goes out all the time, but most of those clocks and watches are programmed to look for it
Yeah.
at night, like between about 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock or something in the morning,
Really?
or between 2 to 5, 2 to 6, something like that.
So you have to have it in the window so it can pick
You
it
have to
up.
have it where it'll pick up.
Oh,
can pick
really?
up the
I
signal.
I wasn't aware of that because Herman claimed that he had one. It didn't work. You know, it
That's
wouldn't work.
why he
His-
didn't put it in the window. He must not
You got to
have
put it
known.
in the window.
I mean, like you can be, say, like you can have the watch on, and if you press it, it'll say USA time not updated. That's because it didn't receive the radio signal.
Oh, I see.
So you put it near a window or close enough where it can get the signal from the window. Or sometimes it'll update. Sometimes it'll pick it up. And sometimes it won't.
You got 12 satellites up there. That's over 25,000 miles up. And they just sit there rotating with the Earth at the same time.
Well, have a
And
good
all they
time.
do is just broadcast from
Yep.
one to another. One sitting
sir.
on military time.
Well,
everything.
no, actually, the one that all these clocks
We
and
cut the
watches
food, don't we?
go to is the National
We do.
Bureau of Standards in Boulder, Colorado, and it broadcasts the signal from
April
Boulder,
the 12th.
Colorado, and a lot of places in the
I've got to
eastern
put that in
U.S.
there. I gotta see. I
can't
gotta
even
do
pick
this
it up
all over
at
again.
all,
Yeah,
and
that-
they were thinking about doing
Wait, how many
another
thousand
transmission
miles
station
up?
in the east.
Well, they've been doing it. Ray.
Somewhere
They've
in
been on the
Maryland.
military. Been on the military for the past 30
Hey,
years.
how many
Yeah, but
thousand,
that's
how
how the
many
military
thousand miles
synchronized
up?
No,
their
but these don't.
Oh, them satellites.
These watches that you buy
Because computers been updating
through the
for
national.
over 40 years. Like that.
Look it up on Wikipedia. You can look up just do radio
Don't have
controlled
to. I've
atomic
seen it in
clock.
practice. I've seen it in
All,
practice.
the broadcast comes
So it's
from
25,000
Boulder,
miles up.
Boulder, Colorado, and then there are 3 receiving stations that it picks up.
Well, I just remember a time that when we had the oil embargo, that January the 6th, we went on 74. Went on daylight savings time,
Yeah, for the whole year
and then
because it was supposed to save energy.
That's right.
and then I thought we changed time back a little later on, and then February 1975 we went back on daylight savings
Yeah, and then there
time.
was a debate on how early should they make the change. If they made it too early, or if they made it too late. Well, the big thing, the reason they set it for November, the first Sunday in November, is because if they did it in October, they said, "Oh, kids will be trick or treating in the
That's
dark.
what I
That might
heard,
be
yeah.
dangerous."
That's what I heard.
Or if they did it, if they went to daylight savings time too late in the year or too early, or then they said, "Oh, kids will be going to school in the dark."
Yeah.
So they settled on first Sunday in November and second Sunday in March as the best compromise.
There's a lot of blind people go to school every day in the dark.
Well, that's true, Dickie. You got a point there. We don't know what being in the light is. But I don't forget, I told when I was at West Georgia College, I told some of my friends, I said, y'all
Hey, do y'all know
need to set up your clocks tonight.
y'all know
They
if
said,
Costco or Sam's helps you any when you go in there or not?
They usually don't because they don't have much staff.
Right.
So, you know, you might be able to sometimes get some help, but I wouldn't count on it.
And then too, you got to pay a membership.
Well, I know that. I got membership.
It's just getting help. That's the main
That's the
Because that's the
thing.
whole thing about those places. You walk around and get what you want.
I was hoping you could go and call them and say if you had a $400 item,
you might be able to.
$400 worth of bulk stuff that they might get it
Now
together.
there's a
No,
thing,
you
I
don't have
think
to buy
on their
that much.
website where you can order the stuff on the website and then they pull it for you and have it ready for you and you can go pick it up.
Yeah, you can do that. But I mean, they always have different stuff, so you
How
might
you
not
hold
know.
them things? How you hold them things?
Probably better just to go with somebody that.
That's just it, Jane. I always got somebody.
Yep. You
Them
can see
them
it
things
on-
Uh,
fold up.
Chester, you want to make a couple of about $100 quick? Just sell that headphone set to
I'm not selling a headphone set.
You know, them headphones fold up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sell
Raymond.
Raymond.
At least those sounds, my friend.
Walmart's got that thing now too, where you can order the stuff on the line and then they bring it out and put it in the car.
Oh yeah, Kroger does it too, and Publix, they all do it now.
Publix, they have an app you
Y'all
have to use
know
called
that,
Instacart.
that Uber's going into the health industry.
I don't know how accessible it
Yeah,
is.
take people to their doctors.
Great on the
Yeah.
phone.
And I don't
That's
think
where-
that you'll have to use the app to do that. There might be
Right on
something
the
set up where you can
Yeah.
call
You can do
them.
that with a phone.
Okay, well,
So,
I've used it on the iPhone.
you know, Chester can get his appointment the whole 9 yards.
Well,
Get
they
a
have
discount
that.
on his trip.
What's that thing, Granny? Something another.
Go Granny. That's a different
That's
thing.
go
Grandparent. Go grandparent.
Oh, I thought it was called Go Granny.
It's
No.
a Go Granny.
Oh, I don't
The
know
thing I'm
about
thinking
that
about.
one. But Chris and I tried the one, Go grandparent.
What's that?
Yeah. It'll take you places you want to go.
You call a phone number and
Maybe that's it then.
Call the phone number and tell you where you want to go, and
Yes, sir.
they partner with Uber or Lyft.
Yeah, that's
And
the
they
same
tell
thing.
you where.
It's called Go grandparent. You have to register.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do that.
Yeah, and you do that instead of using your iPhone
Wear your legs up if you don't drink a lot of water.
to schedule the rides and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better get rid of that sodium.
It causes the lymph nodes to clog up, and that's what causes the swelling. And the dehydration of the lymph nodes, your lymph nodes don't get a chance to flow.
Dehydration. Dehydration can do all kinds of things to you.
But your body is the most abundant substance in your body outside of water is calcium.
Wow.
That's why it's
wow, 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 wow.
natural.
Water.
Because that's what's in the sea. We came from the sea.
Water. Aqua. 70% water.
actually about 72%, 74.
You got
So
that
what
right.
are you into?
You?
DC.
What I'm into. You.
What's that? What's that?
Business.
That's it. Edge.
That's the Edge,
I've been reading on the bus.
Let's see. What is
the Rail Edge.
Yeah.
next week? No, what's the date of the next? What's the date of the next meeting?
12 o'clock.
April the 12th.
Next
Nope.
meeting is April the 12th.
Church, 12 o'clock Sunday.
That's a Thursday.
Hey, I'll go for that.
12 o'clock Sunday.
Do we have a? So we got anybody need make any announcements or anything? We got the.
Well, I guess I better tell that the next meeting's next.
April 12th, isn't it?
Next
It's
meeting.
the next meeting's gonna be April the 12th, 2018, not 2017.
Right here at this Piccadilly.
Right here in Piccadilly.
Piccadilly.
Piccadilly. Hi, diddle diddle. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Yeah, I plan to be there. Good Lord.
Do we got an adjourned motion?
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. So we'll just hang
we
around
just
and have fun
nervous.
like we've been doing anyway.
That's what I'm saying until the Vanny comes around.
Until
wagon coming.
until the paddy wagon comes. Until the rough ride wagon comes.
So the horse and buggy show.
Well, daddy took the T-bird away.
When we came back, when we came back from Old Charlie's on the 19th, and the guy said, "You're gonna have a bouncy ride." That man had no suspension whatsoever.
Oh no!
It's the roughest ride I've ever had in any vehicle.
That one
in
I
my
was
whole
on
life.
that day for like 3 hours or so.
I bet
Let
it
me
bounced.
tell you what they
I bet
did
it
to me
bounced
that day.
Chester's headphones
It
out.
had no-
Let me tell you what they did. Let me tell you what they did to me to cause me to be
It
on
did?
that van for 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Me and
They
Lisa were
picked
on
me
that.
up at CVI from my
I
mobility
bet making my
thing.
rounds.
Yeah.
We go to South Atlanta, pick and drop about 3-4 people. Then we took off all the way to Stone Mountain.
Stone Mountain.
And then they had to turn around and take me to Roswell.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, we were on a van and they took us, me and Sam,
Wow.
we went from Buchanan's house in Alfreda, and we went down to Roswell or Sandy Springs, picked somebody off, picked somebody up, dropped somebody off.
Yeah.
And then he started driving all over creation, go a little while, turn a little while, go a little while, turn a little while. And after about over an hour and a half, we asked him, where are we? And the guy said, we're in Norcross.
What? What the hell?
And I'm thinking, what the hell are we doing in Norcross? That's way up in Gwinnett County. You ain't supposed to be up
You're supposed
there.
to be in Gwinnett County.
And so then, after another long little ride, we ended up in Stone Mountain, where he dropped this person off.
Yeah, I'm
Lord
sure
have
the same
mercy.
Whereas he could have gone
He covered his pool up like we
right
did in
down,
the
dropped
backyard.
from the one that he dropped off in Sandy Springs or Roswell, wherever it was. He could have got right on 400, gone right down to my place, dropped us off, got back up on North Druid Hills Road and gone right to Stone Mountain, and could have got that person from Stone Mountain home at least 45 minutes earlier than she got home.
So, for me to go down there for a 2-hour mobility class, it usually takes over 6 hours.
Good heavens to
No, it's a herb.
Yeah.
Oh, what is?
Now tell me what you're learning. What you learning in mobility, Wynn?
It's just a refresher
She
course.
does nothing.
Oh, just like
Is that why you're so happy?
The garden is honestly waist high.
Oh, is it really?
You don't have to lean over.
Yeah, well, that would be nice.
What's waist high?
Her garden, she's gonna take you down there when she gets it going again this year.
Who's garden?
An octopus's garden. Oh,
That's the,
oh. Lori, you're planting a garden?
Yeah, I had one last year.
You gonna plant some jalapeno peppers in that garden?
No, it was just
It's a herb garden.
basil,
it's towards to go. One to
Oh,
go.
parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme,
Yeah,
right.
Hey,
So you could call it Scarborough Fair.
or as our computers say, that it pronounces some herbs.
Herbs.
Not herbs,
Yeah,
but
herbs.
herbs.
That's what I saw.
Herbs.
Yeah, it's herbs.
no, just herbs.
Yeah, herbs.
Tomatoes and
An herb garden.
And our computers say jalapeno.
I still argue those scanners digital ain't going to pick up everything. They scramble.
Well,
They gotta scramble.
you have to program them, and it has to pick up the talk groups, and there are different kinds of codes that it has to. But no, they won't get to do everything, and then there are some things they take off the radio anyway. They go to cell phones.
How would I be able to program it, not know what I'm doing? I
You
couldn't.
have to get somebody to do it for you.
How much you have to pay them?
It depends on if you get a friend that is into that. They might do it for free. If you take it up to HRO, they might charge you $50.
What's HRO?
Ham radio outlet.
Hopefully the rosemary.
Oh shoot. Okay, where's that?
I don't. There's several locations. There's one up in Doraville, and
Oh, Farron used to do that.
yeah, he used to run one, and they robbed him blind. I understood.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Some of his employees were stealing stuff from him.
Yeah.
Baby, that's what
that's a
happened.
shame.
Oh, do you remember
that
Mike
John
Hall?
Yes.
Brent, you remember Mike Hall?
No.
I've heard of it.
Kim Holtzclaw.
What
No.
happened to Mike?
Kim Holtzclaw was the guy's name I was trying to tell you about when you was at the house. I couldn't think of it. But he was a guy that was shot in a hunting accident in I believe it was 74.
Yeah.
And he was at CVI with Sam Hines and
I remember him.
Betsy and all of them were there.
I remember Sam Hines.
I remember him.
He was there in '88.
I know
He's
Mike
a
Hall
mobility
too.
guy.
Sam moved to Richmond.
Sam was the one that showed me that Sonic guide. And I love that thing. I wanted one of those so bad. There aren't very many things made specifically for blind folks that I ever wanted more than one of those things.
What's Sonic Guide?
Oh yeah, she was there.
It sent out signals from a transmitter,
Went there and took classes.
and then the sounds bounced off of whatever was in your path and then returned to a receiver, and it made different kinds of tones.
Ah.
And you could tell what was in your immediate environment, what it was made of. You could tell like openings, like open doors or walls. You could tell whether it was glass or wood or steel or bushes or trees or
Yeah, I've seen that.
all kind of neat stuff.
I've seen that demonstration. Couldn't afford it, but
And it was in 1975. It would cost you all of $2,995.
Hey, when you go to
That thing where you wore that thing on your head and then you had that thing around your waist.
It was
with
in.
a bag on
It was in a piece. It was in glasses,
Glasses, yeah.
and then it had a pack that had the battery that you put in your shirt pocket or wore around your neck and let it dangle from your,
Your waist.
like at your shirt pocket or whatever.
They put it around my waist. I tried.
Well, what's the thing with these here? What do they call them? Laser canes or whatever?
you'd never.
Oh, I didn't like that thing.
And
Yeah.
that's how you can get so much power from that engine. Or you can go into super overdrive.
That's why I'm always glad to go to the national convention, to go to the exhibits, see what all new out there, so I can have more dreams.
Both sides kind of Quebec,
Hey, Lori,
New York, I was in
did you
Denver,
bring a disc?
Seattle.
I did.
Did.
I put some stuff on it
I kind of
you,
saved
and
some,
then
but I had deliveries.
you can fill it up.
But I had
Okay, so you want-
Cisco.
So that's all copied, so I can just move that off, right?
Somebody wanted me to make the wrong
Bunch
kind
of
of
movies
delivery.
and some music.
And some music.
Wow.
Cool.
Wait.
Maybe that.
what kind of, can you say what it was?
She wants to raid my music collection.
Oh, she does.
I was in Seattle.
You want TV programs and movies too, or what? Okay, so
Audio describer, but it's just the audio.
oh, it's in its bag.
Bag, it's in its box.
They do that.
So I'm gonna put
Yeah, they
it in
have
my
their own
backpack.
do that and they bond it.
You got a backpack,
They
don't you?
Carry
have
it
to
in
collect
this
the money for it.
Adidas
They,
backpack.
you know, they have to collect the money for it and everything, so they have to be bonded. So if they're robbing it, the insurance will cover the loss.
Oh, we want to know that commercial where it says you can buy insurance on your pizza. Has anybody
I never heard of that.
partially seen?
What they
Buy
the
insurance
Domino's
on your
thing where they
pizza. I
say
never heard of
they
that.
say if something happens to it
They can bring it back.
that you bring it back and they'll replace it.
Right,
You have to bring the pizza back though.
right.
Well,
It don't cost you nothing extra.
now that's a
They got a commercial where a guy, he gets out his car, and he would get the pizza inside the car, and a tree falls on the car. He goes, oh no, oh no! He reaches out, and he sees the pizza, and he gets the pizza out, and says, oh, it's still good. And he's walking out, and he slips on the ice, and the pizza comes down and falls right flat on the face of the ice. And that's what he said, you can just bring it back any kind of way, or replace it.
We were
It's
honestly
free.
wondering what that was.
That's a crazy commercial.
They do so many visual commercials these days.
And they don't charge extra to do that.
No,
It's just a gimmick, isn't it?
no, it's for real. I haven't tried it. But
No, it's not for delivery.
It's for carry out.
for carry out, right.
Oh, that's the catch.
Yeah, because you see, if it's delivered, they've always had a policy. If you got your pizza and it was ruined, they replace it automatically. Domino always had that.
Yeah, if something happened.
I didn't know
Your
that.
pizza to be much harder. You don't have them slice it before they bring it to you.
Or if you
Well, they
want-
don't usually slice it all the way through anyway. They just kind of get it started.
Kind of start at the top and the
Cheese
crust.
still kind of holds it together a little bit.
You better wake up.
I don't know why.
But still, it'd be much harder.
What you bring